All right, so let's see what Mr. Mark Zuckerberg has to say about AI agents and why it might be important for business owners.
I think we're going to live in a world where there are going to be hundreds of millions of billions of different AI agents, eventually, probably more AI agents than there are people in the world. A lot of what we're focused on is giving every creator and every small business the ability to create AI agents for themselves, making it so that every person on our platforms can create their own AI agents that they want to interact with. And if you think about it, these are just huge spaces, right? So there are hundreds of millions of small businesses in the world. And
Right.
one of the things I think is really important is basically making it so with a relatively small amount of work, a business can basically, a few taps, stand up an AI agent for themselves that can do customer
Hmm.
support, sales, communicate with all their people, all their customers. I think that every business in the future, just like they have an email address and a website and a social media presence today, I think every business is going to have an AI agent that their customers can talk to in the future.
That's it. So, first off, I think that was one of the most important pieces just right there, what he was talking about, which is every business, just like how they have an email address or social media, they're going to have an AI agent. And if one of the richest men in the world and he's built Meta is saying this, then it might be something that's important for you if you're an online business owner or even a local business owner, thinking about how do I survive, not just survive, but actually thrive over the next decade. And this was actually something that I was thinking through. This was something that I developed inside of my kind of like my AI agents playbook. I'll share this with y'all right now. So here's the actual playbook that I was just talking about. So we are in right now what I call the new AI arbitrage era. And this is a little bit of what Mr. Mark Zuckerberg is talking about, which is like we are entering this new dawn, this new age where AI agents right now might be new, but it will be the normal thing. It will be the thing that is actually a non-negotiable, in my opinion, 3 to 5, 10 years from now, right? So let me define this a little bit more because if you're kind of newer to what this AI agent thing is, like, and how can we use it in our business to like increase our sales and close more deals and improve client success and all those things, let me break it down a little bit because the key thing is we need to understand why this AI agents model is so revolutionary and why it works so well. Well, first things first, it creates what I call the highest form of leverage you can use in business, which is code. Okay, so if we think back to kind of like Naval Ravikant talks about this, but there's like different types of leverage that we can use. We could use labor, which is the lowest form of leverage. We could use capital, and there's like code immediate at the top. AI agents is actually this weird combination. It's actually kind of this hybrid combination where you take the highest form of leverage, which is code, and then you combine it with the lowest form of leverage, which is labor. And so you now have an even higher form of leverage of code like that is based on labor. It's really weird and a foreign concept, but when you actually understand that, that is the synergistic effect, that's why it's so powerful. And this is why you have this like exploding industry happening with AI right now. It's not just a buzzword. This is actually a thing that is going to like eat the world. Just like how, and what I mean by eat the world is takeover, right? Similar to how we saw Salesforce take over with like the SaaS and software model from like 2012 and like ripped it for like 10 years. That same thing is happening with AI right now. We are like entering software 2.0, right? Like some of the, so if we actually look about this, right? So this is the arbitrage, right? The code, the talent, the demand, AI agents is right in the middle. Let's look at what the top companies are thinking. So outside of Mr. Zuckerberg here, we got to look at like Jared. So Jared's actually the managing partner at Y Combinator. And here's the thing, like Y Combinator is the reason behind some of the biggest startups from the past decade, right? Like Box, Airbnb, right? DoorDash, all these different companies. So they're really saying that AI agents will be 10x bigger than software, than SaaS. Okay. So if you had this huge industry that was SaaS, and then the people who were like birthing some of these companies now say that AI agents is going to be bigger, that might be something for us to pay attention to, right? In fact, we're seeing companies like Klarna, they developed this AI bot that's doing the work of like 700 employees, right? And then you see Salesforce, again, we're talking about Salesforce now. They literally said that they're not going to hire any more software engineers in 2025 because there's been this huge productivity they found testing AI inside of their actual productivity. They're like, okay, well, if AI is doing the job of like a lot of these like B player software engineers, why don't we just keep our A players and remove the B players? So it's not necessarily that AI is going to replace everything. It's just going to replace a lot of the bottom of the total pole And the people who are learn how to use AI, they're going to get paid more, and they're going to get even more of the pie. So it's kind of a winner takes all mentality instead of like this equal or kind of like this distributed between A players, B players, and C players. The top companies just aren't going to be having C players because those are going to be replaced by AI. So this is how I invite you to think about it. Is if you're an A player, which you should be if you're watching this video, is don't be afraid of AI. Just know that your colleagues or coworkers or other people that you might have seen in the marketplace that are like B minus players, C players, they're probably not going to be around, and they might have to find another job. Okay, and so it's a hard reality. I know it's not fun to talk about, but this is a reality that is happening. And to be honest, A players are just going to be like A plus players or S tier players. That's really how I see this whole thing going in, because like think about it for this from like a top 10% business owner or top 1% business owner. This is no longer theory. This is no longer about, oh, AI would be so wonderful to use. Like, no, like AI agents right now are working. We're booking hundreds of calls with AI agents. We're literally doubling the sales teams, tripling sales teams in half the time and half the effort that it used to take just completely on labor. Because when I was scaling sales teams before, when I was in kind of like my sales agency mode of like taking these 6-figure companies into 7-figure companies using just human labor and like software, it would be exhausting. But now it's like, okay, well, how do we do it with human labor and software and AI? And then AI is literally that bottom 20% that's leading to 80% of output. And it's like literally doubling, tripling our sales. We took one team from 78,000 to 297,000 per month in literally 90 days, just through some of these systems and strategies that we've kind of been testing this past year, right? So this is your blue ocean moment. This is literally your blue ocean moment. And my question for you is, are you going to wait until it's saturated? Or you're going to ride the wave? Because here's the thing, okay? And you might have seen this graph before. This is going a little bit deeper into kind of the psychology of like AI agents and like why it's so important if you're an online business owner or a small business owner, why you need to take advantage of this now, and why, if you're watching this video as this date, it is June 18th. If you're watching this video in mid 2025, I'm going to actually let you know that you're still early. Now, it doesn't always feel like that because your news feed might be saturated with all these people using AI and how they're amazing and all this, but it's really just an echo chamber of what I call like the visionary standpoint. And we are still in the middle of crossing this chasm, right? I would say, before 2023, people were still in the innovators. 2024 saw a huge like growth with kind of these early adopters, especially with ChatGPT becoming more popular, Claude becoming more popular. You saw actual use cases of AI, not just being like a gimmicky thing, but like actual use cases, booking calls, closing more deals, AI content. You see all this stuff with Google, what they're doing with VO, with the video creation. It's insane how they're creating like cinema level quality stuff. It's insane. Like the speed at which this is moving is phenomenal. But I truly believe we're not even here in the early majority yet. We're simply crossing the chasm right now. So again, you are amazingly right about to catch the beginning of this wave. And so my invitation to you is like, you've identified this trend, this new wave early. You're identifying the like social media in the early 2010s, right? Anyone who knows, who actually truly leveraged the tool of social media from like 2015 to 2021, like had a generational run. It was like the way the business grew, the way they became like, you saw these influencers pop up, more clout and following than ever before, more social status, more money, more connections, more everything. This was just amplified by social media. Well, here's the beautiful thing. You have a similar thing happening with AI, especially AI agents right now, where you're like early, but it's not going to last forever. In fact, because of how quick this technology is, this time frame is probably only going to be between the next 1, 2, maybe 3+ years, 1 to 3 years at most. So, I decided to go all in on this stuff in 2024 because I saw it become the next evolution of social media. And like Mr. Mark Zuckerberg is saying, I don't know why I keep saying Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. As Zuckerberg was saying, it's really important that we understand and we just look at that this is going to be a normal thing. There's going to be more AI agents than there are going to be employees inside of the marketplace. We're obviously not there yet, so there's not a tipping point. But if you're someone who could use AI agents inside your own business to grow, or even be someone who's kind of like, selling, you're not mining the gold rush, but you're like selling the pickaxes, you're selling the tools of the gold rush. If you're selling AI agents, that's another opportunity. You're going to take this huge demand, right? If we look at this bad boy, okay? Okay, so let's pretend this is the current demand of AI agents, okay? And right now, to be honest, the people who supply this is like this. At least well, right? Anyone can put up some AI agent, but for it to actually work, and do its job and promises, it is very tiny. So we know basic supply. If there's a high demand and there's low supply, guess what? There's a lot of moolah to be made, okay? I'm going to put $5 signs because there's a lot of moolah to be made. Now, keep in mind, this demand is only going to get bigger and bigger each year. And of course, the supply is going to get bigger and bigger each year, right? But we're here right now, so we want to take advantage of this and maximize the money, because we know as this demand will inevitably increase, but also the supply will increase. And there'll be a point where possibly the supply outweighs the demand, just like everything else, like social media, right? Like paid ads, social media marketing, agencies, like all this stuff, right? The supply ended up overpowering the demand. And so the money goes from like big moolah to like tiny moolah, right? And so it doesn't last forever. The gold rush does not last forever. We know that. And this is what this late majority or laggards part of, the crossing the chasm curve is. So it's really important for us to understand that. And when we understand that, that's where the magic happens. That's where the profits happen. That's where the true unfair advantage is. That's where you have the 99% advantage over your competitors and everyone else in the market, because you know the insider secret. So if you're watching this insider secret, you're here. You're here. All you got to do is implement. So hopefully you like this video, this reaction. If you actually want the AI Agents Playbook for free that me and my team and that I share with my clients, if you want access to that, in the description below, there's actually a link to access that. Go ahead, click on that, and you can go ahead and see how to take advantage of this whole AI agents model inside of your own business or your future business, depending on if you haven't started one yet. So again, this is Larry Porta. Hope you liked this video. If you did, like it. Drop some comments, your takeaways or questions below, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I'll see you in the next training, the next video. Cheers.